A special edition of Reed's Ranch, a little pre-season version of some spaces. I've got some of my best good boys here. Seth Hughes couldn't be bothered to join us, but got my boy Bob McRib and Brizzy, two of my favorites.
What's up, everybody?
How are the boys tonight?
Doing pretty good.
Doing pretty good. Yep.
Happy to be here.
It did feel like football. I don't know what it's like where you guys are at, but where I was at this morning at 6:30 when I left to go to the radio, I actually got pretty chilly whenever I walked outside.
Buddy, when I opened that garage door and I pulled the Bronco out of the garage, and that cool, crisp air just hit me in the face, man, I could smell Neyland. It was amazing. It was a beautiful, beautiful feeling this morning when I walked outside.
Now, Bob, you're down in Atlanta. What did it feel like in Atlanta?
Obviously not as good. We're down here in the godless state of Georgia. It's not, you don't have that crispness, but you have like the hint of crispness, if that makes sense. Like, it doesn't feel like tailgate weather, but you can see it on the horizon. You can see the light at the end of the summer tunnel there.
Well, how are we feeling down in the godless state of Georgia? How hot is the chili, Bob? How are you feeling?
Imagine like the center of the sun where the fusion reaction is occurring. The chili couldn't be hotter. I had a Bama fan ask me my prediction for the season, and I just told him with a straight face 11-1.
Brizzy, where are you at?
Buddy, I mean, the best way I can explain it from a Southern's perspective, you know, you got your mama's and grandma's old dinner plates, and you come home and you're starving, and you throw in some leftovers on that dinner plate in the microwave, but you're hungry. You don't think about it after about 2 minutes. You grab it without a pot holder, man. It burns your hand. That's how hot my fever is my grandma's plates out of the microwave at 2 minutes. That's how hot my fever is.
Now, what's on the plate?
Let's see, mostly fried chicken. Maybe some natural taters is what I like, some sliced taters, and then some cornbread, sweet cornbread.
You put cornbread in the microwave?
You got to do it separately, and you got to put a little bit of water in it. Like you take a little cup of water and you put it in with the cornbred.
You putting the cornbread in the milk?
No, I don't do the cornbread and milk thing. Never could do that. Never was my thing.
Your grandma didn't teach you very well, Brizzy. You got to put a little cornbread. You got to put a little milk on the cornbread.
See, I was that guy, that kid that didn't like regular cornbread. So she made two things of cornbread for me. She made sweet cornbread and regular cornbread. And the regular cornbread, everybody at the table put in milk. I didn't care for it. I had my little Debbie after lunch on Sundays.
Bob, where are you at in terms of, at the end of last year, we were all finally freed from Joe Milton. I'm as excited to watch Nico play quarterback as I think I've ever been about anything in Tennessee football.
I'm just supremely confident. It's like a serene feeling going into the season where you're not really worried about anything. You know you've got the chosen one. You know you've got the next one there about to take snaps for you. And I was thinking about it earlier today. This has been like the least I have consumed preseason coverage. And that might sound crazy, but it's like back in the Bush Jones era, back in the Pruitt era, back in the era we were not as confident as what we were doing. I was going on BrentHubbsVolQuest.com, just looking for any kind of nugget of hope, any kind of just bright spot I could look forward to in this season. But, you know, going into this season, it's just, you know, the boys are ready to go. And, like, we're going to show up at Chattanooga next week and beat them by 55 and carry that fight the rest of the season. Oh, fuck, it's Krebs.
It is. Welcome in, Krebs. I wasn't sure if he was going to be able to join once we had already gotten started, but great to see you.
Great to see you, John. Bob wasn't very happy about that introduction. And Brizzy, great to see you, buddy.
Hey, brother, good to see you.
Yeah.
I do got to say, Bob, whenever the fourth camera came on, when Krebs just popped on, it backed out a little bit on you, and I realized you're looking really good right now. I'm proud of your journey in Meatheads. I've backslid and went the other way, so I'm really proud of you. Brizzy, you as well, of course. It's been a couple years for you, but you're looking great too. Krebs, you kind of look a piece of shit, but that's okay.
John, you saw me in like March or whenever
Yeah.
Easter was.
Yeah.
And you could have just said it to my face, but no, here we are.
I complimented too. I didn't want to leave you hanging thinking I didn't see you. I just, me and you are looking pretty rough. We've been rode hard and hung up wet. It's okay though.
Certainly.
How hot is your chili right now for this Tennessee football season?
Oh, boys, it is. It's getting there. It's getting there. So, I was going to tell this story on the Twitter Spaces next week, but I'm just going to go ahead and tell it now. My birthday, if you remember, John, last year when I was on the Spaces was right around when I was in the hurricane, leading up to Joe Milton's debut. But my birthday this year is Saturday, August 31st. The first day of the Vols. I always remember that growing up. It was fantastic. But then I thought to myself, do you guys remember the last time we played on August 31st?
Was that Georgia State?
It was Georgia State.
Jesus Christ.
But I just thought to myself, I was like, this is clearly the year we exercise all the demons. And it starts with the Georgia State game on my birthday. And my chili is so hot. I mean, I'm telling you what, if I forgot I'm on camera, so yeah, it's really hot.
I thought you were going to say something about grandma's plates and chicken
Yeah,
and cornbread.
it was-
That's where Brizzy went before you got here. But Bob, back to your point, I feel exactly like you do. The baseball team helped the offseason be so short, but also every conversation I try to have on the radio or one of my podcasts about the team, it always just comes back to James Pierce Jr. and Nico. Like, people try to get all fired up and worried about the safeties and the defensive backs. But I just keep thinking, we have Nico. It'll all be okay. We're going to have an explosive offense and a kick-ass quarterback again.
It's like, who cares about Will Brooks? Like, he's going to give up touchdowns, and then Nico's going to go back out there and immediately throw a 75-yard touchdown pass to Chris Brazel. We call him Thick Justin Hunter in the Discord and off the Discord. And it's just not even an issue anymore. And James Pierce is going to be running around out there. I don't know how many sacks.
There's a chance
how
we
many
got
sacks this
back-to-back
season?
top 5 picks. There's a chance we got back-to-back top 5 picks. Hell, there's a chance we might have back-to-back number 1 overall picks between those two guys we're talking about. How many sacks is James Pierce Jr. going to get? I think I said earlier on Reed's Ranch, I think 12 is kind of the number I'm looking at. Just give me an average of 1 per game. Of course, you get to a bowl game and you get to some playoff games. You might see that go up a little bit, but I'll say 12 sacks. Briz, you taking the over or the under?
Give me the over. I mean, I'm like, that's how hot my chili is. James Pierce is that guy. He is that guy.
Krebs, you going over or under 12?
It's over for me too.
Excellent. All right. You all were given homework assignments to plan some segments. So, Bob, what topic do you have that you want to get to first? That's the look of a man that doesn't have a planned segment.
How could we not have a planned segment, you motherfucker?
Well, I like spontaneity. I want to see what you got. Everyone thinks this is so easy to be a content master, so let's go. Plan the show. Brizzy, what do you got? You're up next. What topic do you want to get to?
Unlike Bob, I do my homework. I mean, I don't, no flame, Bob. I have reading comprehension skills. So when you put something out there that I read as something I need to do for work, then John, I'm all over it. So I just want to let you know that.
Well,
okay,
so stalling while you think of something. Let's go. Get to it.
Is that what you thought I was doing? That's what
sounded like.
politicians do, John. That's not what we do here.
You're not
Quit trying to
getting
change
my
the
vote,
subject.
Brizzy. Let's
No,
go.
I don't want to get political, John. So please stop. All right, let me get in my segment, okay? Can we do that?
The floor's
right.
yours.
All right. Top 5 civilization characters from Civilization 6. You got top
Krebs,
5.
Krebs, what do you got? Do you have anything that you want to get off your chest? Because I can get us into our usual conversation if I have to, but I'm giving the boys the floor.
No, I did have a ball question for you and for everyone else on here. And
Shout out
I'm
to
not
Seth for not showing up, by the way. Good job,
Yeah,
Seth.
I know. Seth said in the Discord, he said that he was going to be joining, and here we are. No, go ahead, John.
Well, I was just going to say, he said, oh, well, I was helping my dad. I thought we were doing 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central. Likely story.
Yeah, that's egregious. Okay, before I even ask this question, I'm not nervous, I'm not worried, but I thought it would be a good point to bring up. And I have to admit, John, this is the first week in a while I haven't listened to the radio show in the morning, so I apologize. I don't know if it's been brought up. I don't know if it's been brought up or not. What's going on with Tony V's contract? We going to get any updates? Anything?
No news is not bad news in this situation, boys.
I agree.
Tony's not going anywhere. The number I heard someone start throwing around, though, and the number I saw was people saying that Tony's going to make around $3 million. Have you guys seen anything like that on any of the message boards or on the Discord or anything?
I've not seen anything outside of what casuals post.
Yeah, everything's been so in the dark about Tony's contract. This is the first I've heard of a $3 million figure, but whatever, it's not my money. Pay it.
It's not me doing any type of reporting. Someone regurgitated that to me somewhere. I just can't remember where. But, yeah, $3 million was the number thrown out to me. But like Bob said, who gives a shit? You won a national championship. Well, thank you, Pilot, for helping preserve Neyland Stadium and for helping pay Tony Vitello. So give Tony Vitello all the money he wants. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, is there even a question of that? Like, I don't think that's even on the menu. It's like, what's the number, Tony? Like, let's get it over with.
Yeah, so like no Krebs. We don't know the contract details. We don't know the latest, and we don't care. Tony's not going anywhere. I will say Tony was probably pretty pissed about the Lindsey Nelson renovation getting messed up because of lazy contractors and bad electricians. I'd say he's pretty pissed about that.
Man, Randy's got to do a better job at finding contractors. He's got to do better at that. That's Randy's avenue.
We were going to have a big-ass celebration and have a whole, hey, look, we're national champions. We're going to raise a banner / put numbers on a wall, and we're going to really celebrate and party in this brand-new castle we've built for him. And instead, the castle's not going to have any damn lighting because we messed that up. That's pretty embarrassing, honestly, but a testament to how good everything else is going that we don't even really care. It's like, whatever. We'll figure it out.
I mean, exactly. Like going back to Bob's point earlier, like I've not paid any attention to any preseason football because baseball took us so far into June, and then you're just riding that high. And then Ball Shop just now got some people we know just now got their shirts. They've not been able to walk around and strut until August. So I mean, sorry for you guys out there. I was strutting my hind end around on that next week, but anyway. But thank God for
Tony. I have. This is the only thing I have that says national champion.
Can't touch that.
They sent me a ticket that has all 3 games on it and was like, hey, thank you for being so balled up that you give money to the baseball team. And I don't know if other people got this. I haven't seen anybody else post it. I don't know if they know I was at all 3 games in Omaha or what, but I haven't got this in my trophy case yet, or I guess I should say in a frame, but I got the newspaper and I got this. I didn't buy any shirts. That's all I got. I spent all my money on tickets.
John, you're kind of like that guy who worked at his job for 50 years, and his celebration is they got a personal email from the CEO. All that money you spent, and they sent you a paper ticket.
Well, by God, I printed out my email, and it looks nice. And I don't see you with the ticket. You're going to lose your shirt. I got this ticket.
Fair enough. I ain't lost my cigar yet or nothing yet from the Alabama game.
Problem is I don't have any kids to sit around and tell about this. I need to have some kids to be like, yeah, Papa was there. Instead, this is just going to end up somewhere in a garage sale at some point. Nobody to tell my story.
We'll be there to listen. I know I will. I know I can't speak for Seth, obviously, based on this evening, but I can speak tonight that I will be there to listen.
Where are we at on record predictions? Let's do a little preseason spaces. We're going to fire one up. Seth assured the people he'll be ready to go next Wednesday. But where are we at record prediction? We'll start with you, Krebs, when you look at Tennessee's schedule.
I am just going to say 11-1. That's how I feel. I'm balled up about it. I think Nico's going to lead us there. I think Bob said it earlier. Who cares if our secondary isn't fantastic? Because we will roll right through them on offense. So I'm going 11-1, loss to Georgia.
Bob?
Yeah, I told the Bama fan earlier, 11-1. I'm going to stick with that, and I'm not even going to lock in a loss to Georgia. I think it'll be a loss somewhere along the way. It's the SEC. It's a tough conference. It's tough to win in the SEC. But we're going to have the best quarterback play in every game we play. We're going to have the best quarterback in every game we play, and I mean, if you got to lock in the position where you're going to be better at in every game, it's going to be the quarterback position. So, I mean, I'm going with 11-1. I said 11-1 last year, Joe Milton, which was in hindsight a little bit silly, quite a bit silly. But a year later into the Josh Heupel program, we got Nico under center, and he's primed and ready to go. And I know we talked a lot of shit last year, and there's a lot of frustration about not letting Nico take the reins immediately, but he prepared, he prepared his body. He's probably like 25 pounds bigger than he was this time last year, and yeah, we're ready to take some souls this season for sure.
I do think it was an 11-1 schedule last year. I do think we dropped
100%.
the ball and wasted that opportunity.
Let's not relitigate it. 0 days.
I was just trying to make you feel better for picking 11-1. I was just saying that I think 11-1 was right there on the table. But let's move on. Brizzy, where are you at?
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I think 11-1's a pretty easy take, but I'm going to stand on 12-0.
He said Krebs. Bob,
Wow.
eat shit, you nega Vols. He's going 12-0 with Queen Dolly right there in the background. If you are watching along.
Yeah, so basically, I mean, it just breaks down to, what does a national championship team need? It needs an outstanding Heisman quality quarterback. That's what you need out of a national championship team.
Check.
All right, we've got that. All right, you got to have an offensive genius on the sideline in today's game to win, because you have to score more points than your other opponent. That's simply the college game now. We have that on the sideline in Josh Heupel.
Krebs, write that down. You can't win a championship if you don't outscore the opponent.
That's true.
There's some people out there that tweet that out and think it needs to be said, so I'm just going to get my 2 cents in and reiterate it as well.
Hey, baby, this is your podcast. Go ahead.
All right. Then you have to have that son of a gun on the sideline that you wish just wasn't there. All right. I'm not going to say his name. His name gets said all the time, but then he just shows out and shuts you up. You got to have that from the sideline, and I think this is his year that he's got some guys back there that's going to outplay his coaching, and he's going to ride that to the end of the season. All right. On top of that, you have to have somebody who can dominate the defensive line. All right. We have a guy who's potentially the generational talent of this era, the Gen X Jadeveon Clowney, that's just going to be taking souls on the field. And that's going to open up so much on the other side and blitz tactics that people don't realize our defense is going to be the best it's ever been since Josh Heupel's been here, and we're going to have the offense running on jet fuel with Nico leading us. And that's just simply how you get to 12-0. Everybody says 11. Why can't you beat Georgia? Georgia may have, who knows how many DUIs they got by then. Who knows how much the wheels have fallen off. The second Georgia starts losing, that program is done. There's no reeling it back in for Georgia. So I ain't scared of Georgia. We got Nico. We got Josh Heupel. We got Timmy B on the sideline going to step it up this year. And I'm just ready. I'm ready for 12-0.
I'd settle for 11-1, but Brizzy just kind of laid out some points there. Who knows? Maybe Georgia will have the Urban Meyer fall from grace. Maybe that culture there is just hanging by a couple of threads. Maybe this year is when the cat finally starts unwinding it and we see it all kind of collapse. I will say, look, everything everyone always says, you need great quarterback play, you need good offense, you need good offensive and good defensive line play. You win in the trenches and you win with quarterbacks. And I think Tennessee should have great play at all three. I don't know where you guys feel about our offensive line, but I think they're at least going to be good. I think the defensive line could be the best in the SEC, which means if you're the best in the SEC, you're the best in the entire country. And then again, not to keep talking about my baby boy, the Prince, but I got all the confidence in the world about Nico. Matt, you're a little silent here. You're shaking your head. Are you agreeing? Are you thinking we're idiots? Are you getting fired up? How's the vibe up there in Michigan?
It's not bad, honestly. This morning I walked my Prince, my baby, as you put it, himself, my dog Freddie around. It was 49 degrees this morning at about 6:20 in the morning. So the vibe is hot up here. Recently, big news for me. I hope you guys enjoy this. I have connected with the president of the UT alumni in Michigan. Because we don't have an official chapter up here. I don't really want an official chapter, but I'm trying to get a bar picked out for us to all go and watch the game at.
Are you trying to position yourself as a cabinet member? Since you know the president, are you trying to say, hey, do you need some VP help? Do you need a treasurer? The treasurer would be a pretty good role for you.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Just a party coordinator. I mean, you like to party.
Well, no, I thought you said treasurer. I was hoping I was going to get my hand on some money here.
Well, yeah, I said treasurer or party coordinator, one of the two.
No, I would prefer to be president if you're asking my opinion, but I appreciate your opinion there, John. No, I'm just trying to coordinate a bar for us, transplants to the Midwest to come root on our boys and our baby boy Nico, and I was shaking my head in agreement with you, John. I'm very excited for this season.
Bob, you got a place in Atlanta with other Vols that you watch games?
No, absolutely not. The UT Alumni Bar in Buckhead, every time I've gone there, it's been an absolutely gutting and brutalizing loss. The only time I've ever gone to the Atlanta Alumni Bar, which burned to the ground, by the way, there's a new Atlanta Alumni Bar. The only time they won was the Appalachian State game in 2016, which might as well have been a loss.
Okay, hold on. So, Bob, you say you have really bad luck when you go to the alumni bar. I've heard you got very bad luck in the actual stadium or arena as well. You were in Omaha for, I think, the only loss during the College World Series. Do you think that maybe you're just cursed when it comes to sports?
My parents certainly think so, and their favorite thing to do when I'm with my parents and they see someone in orange, they love going up to random strangers wearing orange and saying, hey, my son entered UT in 2008, just when the football program started to suck. Yeah, you see that guy over there? He ruined the football program, and then they laugh their asses off.
Yeah, that's tough.
It's tough.
Can you warn the audience of which games you plan on attending this year?
I don't want to say it.
You probably don't want too much commotion around, Bob showing up. That's a big business.
Well,
when big time Bob shows up, the party starts, business picks up. I get it. You don't have to mention. Just please tell me.
Chattanooga, and
please tell me you're not coming for Alabama, Bob. Please tell me it's not Alabama.
I bought my plane ticket to go to Alabama. I'm going to my sweet mother's birthday in North Carolina the night before. I got a car picking me up at 3:30 a.m. to take me to the airport to go to Knoxville for the Alabama game.
Oh, Bob. Now, were you at Alabama in 22?
No, I was.
That sounds like a no.
I was in Roswell, Georgia.
Oh, God. What's the biggest recent win you think you've been to, Bob? Not to put you on trial here. I just need to know, because Brizzy's got us at 12-0. We might have to take the Bob effect into account.
All right. Does the double overtime win at Mercedes-Benz Stadium against the Rambling Wreck, the Georgia Jackets count? Does that count?
Oh, no. I mean, it counts, but I think it doesn't really help your point. I think it hurts your point to go to double overtime.
Does Jeremy Pruitt's miracle win in Jacksonville, Florida, over the mighty Indiana Hoosiers on
God.
that perfect onside kick, does that count?
I mean, it was a great onside kick, but again, we had to eke one out against Indiana, so I think it hurts your case.
All right. Let's go further back. Gators 16. Does that count?
Yeah, I'll give us that one. That one was fun.
That was the first win of the turn.
I tried to leave at halftime of that game.
What do you mean you tried to leave? You couldn't get up and move? Like somebody locked you down? Like they wouldn't let you outside? What the hell happened?
No. I looked at my dear friend Nick Bonfini, who I was at the game with at halftime, and I said, let's leave now. Let's go to the Strip. Let's get hammered and forget about all of this happening.
And your friend said no?
Yeah, Nick
What a
said
guy.
no. Yeah.
Does he often remind you of that?
No, he's forgotten about it, I'm sure. He's not a big Vols fan. He's just just to be there and everything.
One of my favorite stories is Seth, talking about him leaving the Florida game and having to run in past the usher and just sprinting past him. Some poor old man trying to do his job and tackle Seth, and he just skirts right past him. All right, let's get some questions rolling in the chat for the people watching live, since neither Bob nor Brizzy did their homework in terms of coming up with segments. Mason wants to know, Brizzy, I assume, what is your Bitcoin price prediction at the end of the year? You're a crypto expert.
So basically, at the end of the year, that's going to be hard to judge. But what you're going to see going into September is you're going to see the downturn. Right now, Bitcoin is fighting for the 21-week moving average. You're going to see it go down. Where is it going to fall? I don't know. But by the end of the year, you might see it start climbing back up in the 50s. But I think you might get down to the 40s. But you're going to be pretty much be around where you're at now.
So are you
give or
holding?
Take 20%.
Are you holding? What are we doing?
Your daily DCA in Bitcoin. You just buy it every day right now. When Bitcoin's boring, you buy it. When it's low, you buy it. When it's high, do whatever you want to. You can't make a wrong decision there.
Okay. You heard it there first, Mason. Nathan wants to know the best Vol game you've ever seen in person, any sport. We'll start with Krebs. What was the best game, any sport you saw in person for Tennessee?
Oh, boy. Why do I get picked first here? Let me think.
Okay, Brizzy, the best Vol game you've ever seen.
Well, I mean, it's got to be Alabama, October 15, 2022. Or do you want me to go back further than that, since that's a little bit recent?
I mean, if that's the answer, that's the answer. I mean,
other than that, it's 04 Florida. 04 Florida would be the other one. But definitely Alabama, because I got to rush the field, take a picture with my fellas.
I think anybody that was there in 22 Bama, that's their answer probably. I was going to say Krebs, I enjoyed the time in Creighton. That was a pretty big win, against Creighton in Detroit. That one was really fun. For me, look, I got to say, the problem and the benefit of being Big Game John is that I'm there for all of my team's heartbreaking losses. I've seen a lot of heartbreaking losses, but also if you kind of go through all my team's biggest wins, chances are I'm going to be there too. So, the Omaha, the entire series, I saw my team win a national championship, just a month or so ago. That was cool. I don't think any of those games necessarily would have been like all-time classic game, but, Bama, of course, classic. I thought Creighton was a really good basketball game. You have your answer, Krebs.
Yes, I do. I agree with you. Creighton's up there for me. Honestly, the Purdue game was a lot of fun, too, even though we lost. But clearly that's not what I'm about to say. I would say, let's think back to the last one in St. Louis when we beat Ohio State. I was a sophomore in high school. And actually, my family's from the St. Louis area. So my dad, my brother, and I went up. And it felt like when J.P. Prince, the king, I know he's John's king, blocked Evan Turner's shot, the bleachers that we were standing on felt like they were about to collapse. And I was ready. I would have been happy if it happened. Wouldn't have complained. That was just the way I was supposed to go out. But yeah, I'd say that was the best one.
Bob, I assume yours is the double overtime victory over Georgia Tech?
No, I've got a very sad answer. Black Cloud Bob. No. Bad Vibes Bob has got a very sad answer.
Oh, no. Well, what is it?
February 26th, 2013. Your Tennessee Vols defeated the number 8 Florida Gators in Thompson Bowling Arena in a 64-58 matchup of beautiful Conzo Martin basketball. And I walked out of the arena thinking that Conzo was going to be on the right side of the bubble that season. And we lost to Mercer in the first round of the NIT.
I think we followed that up by beating the shit out of Vanderbilt, a week or so later, and then having Kevin Stallings tell us all to enjoy the NIT. And we thought, no way we'll be in the NIT, and then sure enough, we were in the NIT.
Yeah, that was tough. No, probably no. That was probably the 2016 Florida game that was up there, and I think I had a better reaction though to the one the year before, the 2015 game against Georgia, when I think we came back from like 21 points down, 24 points down, and it felt like Butch Jones had turned the corner, which obviously that did not work out so well in hindsight, but at the time it was an electric feeling. I remember after the game telling a distraught Georgia fan that Mark Richt was their Phil Fulmer, and they were about to go through a decade of being absolute shit. Maybe I shouldn't have said that because it didn't work out that way either.
Yeah, that's tough.
Bad
That's
luck
tough.
Bob just gave Georgia the momentum they needed to actually get it right by him telling them that. That's tough. Okay, Reese wants to know.
Should I just go and root for Georgia? Should I just like buy a bunch of red and black shit?
You just got to go to all the games. You just got to go to all the games and mean it. You can't half-ass it. You got to go full-fledged. You got to start barking at people.
I can't believe. Do you think if you were a Georgia fan,
I might have to. For the
and
boys.
would you be barking? Would you be barking at somebody? Do you think you are the Georgia fan that be barking
at somebody? No.
Yes,
but I can see
yeah.
myself in the stands, like
Yeah.
tilting my head back and going, just up in the air, not in somebody's face though.
I mean,
With that
when a
high-pitched-
pretty girl walks by, I'll howl every now and then, but that's about the only time. That's the only time I ever act like that.
I don't know. I think if you're brought up in that, you definitely would. I can absolutely see myself doing something stupid like that.
I mean, you'd have to teach the no shame from birth. I would feel like mom and dada bark at random folks. Like it just seems like a natural progression for Georgians.
Is that not how you were raised, Brizzy, or am I the only one?
Yeah, not me.
All right, Reese wants to know, Brizzy, what's the price you'd sell your Bronco for cash?
Ooh.
Brizzy has a Bronco, in case you didn't know, podcast audience.
2023 white Badlands Sasquatch package. I call it the MJOJ.
Hey, and if anyone needs one, there's about 9 million of them sitting on every curb up here in Detroit. They're a real popular car. So give me a call if you need one.
But for cash, it wouldn't. I would to replace it. Like, if you literally said, if I had no car and you said, Brock, what car would you want? Brizzy, so golly, dox myself. But anyway, I would pick my Bronco because I ordered it piece by piece. But if you had to give me money, I would $100K because I could turn around, buy it, and then buy me a nice, like a Lexus sedan.
Maybe a fourth of a Bitcoin or something with the leftover money.
Depends on when that cash is in hands. Depends on if I buy Bitcoin or not.
Krebs, your favorite Detroit pizza?
Oh. Probably Buddy's. Buddy's is like the famous one. I mean, I'm not a big fan of the whole. I don't even know what Detroit pizza is. Is it the Jets? Is it the bread with only the toppings on top?
I think it's
Yes,
basically
Jets.
Jets, right?
Yeah. So I mean, like I like Jets, but it's not a place I'm going to travel to eat their damn pizza. So I'd say Buddy's. Buddy's is number one for me, and then Little Caesars, Detroit staple, number two.
Bob, what is your EPL top four, and how low do you think Chelsea is on that list?
I'm glad you said
EPL
that. I had
top
no idea it
four,
was soccer.
I wish Reese could answer this in real time, but is City getting hammered for the 115 charges or not? I'm going to assume not for now, so I'll say Arsenal, City, Spurs. I don't feel great about that, and Villa. I don't feel great about that either. EPL's pretty ass right now. A lot of teams are really ass right now. And how low is Chelsea? I see that. Chelsea's an absolute shambles. Holy shit. Man, Chelsea's gonna finish 12th this season. It's gonna be rough. I hate it. I hate it for Soda especially.
Where do you have Tennessee finishing at the end of the regular season / after conference championships? Do they make the playoffs? And if so, what number seed do you have them in? Bob, you're up first.
I had Tennessee at 11-1 in the SEC. I think that buys you top five if you finish 11-1 in the SEC.
Did you see the SEC tie-breaking methods they released? Basically, they're just doing a random draw. They're like, we couldn't figure it out. So if people are tied, we're just going to pick a ball out of a hat, basically.
It's 2024, bro. What are they doing?
Yeah, I read it and made my head hurt. It made it spin.
There's so many analytics out there that you could take and use off that. It's ridiculous.
Krebs, what number do you have Tennessee finishing at?
I mean, I'm the same as Bob. I had them, 11-1. So, especially if our only loss is to undefeated Georgia. I mean, you think 5 seed at the lowest. 11-1. We definitely make the playoff, and then, as we always say, boys, just roll the dice from there, right?
The problem is 11-1 is probably getting you in the SEC championship, right? Like 11-1 is probably getting you in there. And you're going to have to play an extra game, and if you lose that game, you'll still make the playoff, but I think it'll be hard to keep the 5 spot. I think you'll have to
that's true.
fall down to like 7 or 8 unless you win it. If you win it, of course, you'll be a top 4 seed and get the bye, but I think it'll be hard for Tennessee to finish in that 5 spot.
I choose to ignore that. Someone else will finish 11-1 and go to the SEC championship game on the some crazy tiebreaker.
So would you be happy if we were up for a tiebreaker and we lost the random pull, or would you be secretly happy that you didn't have to play an extra game and that you get to finish 11-1?
I would be not secretly happy. I'd be extremely thrilled because the SEC championship game means nothing moving forward. Who gives a fuck about the SEC championship game?
Krabs, do you agree with that?
I was about to throw a hypothetical in there about, if it's a rematch with Georgia and then we lose the coin toss and Missouri advances over us, are you still excited about that? But then everything Bob said kind of took over that, so I agree with him.
All right, Brizzy, what number do you have as finishing?
1. I mean, we're going to win the SEC. We're going to be undefeated. We're coming out of the SEC. The only other scenario I see is when the National Writers Association get together in their little rooms, and they're like, okay, listen, the SEC's down this year, so the 12-0 with Tennessee really don't mean that much. That's the only scenario where if we come out and we're not number 1 undefeated in the SEC, that's the only scenario where we're not number 1.
Where they get like Ohio State, and they're like, hey,
exactly.
We love Big Ten.
Yeah. Jim Harbaugh's gone. We if the Big Ten is going to survive, we got to suck this coach off. And right now it's Ryan Day, even though we hate doing it. We still got to get down there, and that's just the way it is. And so that's just the way I see it.
You choke on it?
I did. I even spit. Yeah, pretty much. Ryan Day got me through the virtual recorder.
I gotta say your toupee looks really good tonight on camera.
Thank you. It's about 2.5 weeks in, so it's coming apart. I got to get it taken care of.
All right, you boys got anything else you want to get on record? I appreciate you guys doing this with us. I had fun. I wish we'd had a couple more people, mostly Seth, joining us. But I had fun with
I have my idea for my segment, John.
Okay, let's hear it.
All right, circling back to our discussion before we got started here about TV and movies that you watch with your significant other, with your lady of the evening, perhaps. I feel like men and women have very different tastes in movies and TV. So, what is your strategy for coming up with a compromise TV or movie that you will watch with a woman and you have a go-to?
That's a good question. I got to be honest, I've never really had trouble with that. I think it's because I am willing to watch like trash reality TV. So like if a girl ever wants to watch trash reality TV, I don't mind to sit there. And, I kind of like some trash reality. So like I'll throw in, like The Challenge or something. But in terms of like trying to watch prestige TV, I don't know about you, Bob, because, you're married, you have a wife, you live there together. Maybe it's different, but I don't mind to watch TV by myself. Like, I don't really have to convince somebody to watch TV with me.
I don't mind it either, but
if I don't want to.
Sometimes you got to have some...
do you try to like just plant it in their head and let them think they're making the suggestion? Do you watch a couple episodes first and then find things you could sell them on? Do you try to find the attractive people in there? I don't know. Brizzy, Krebs, do you guys have any advice for Bob?
Well, I mean, Bob's in a different situation than me. I mean, for me, I typically take the lead and I pick out what to watch. But depending on where I'm at with that young lady and the relationship depends on what I go to. But if you're just talking about in a general overscope of just getting together watching a movie, I mean, Sweet Home Alabama is like the greatest go-to, like rom-com out there. But depending on where you're at in the relationship, I'll change that depending on what I'm trying to navigate that evening, so to speak.
What do you mean by that? What you're trying to
if I'm just trying to get to know her better.
Get to know her better, like how? What do you mean?
Well, I mean, what date number are we on? Is it raining outside? Is that why we ended up back here? Because we decided to go out for a run? So you just never know.
Right,
are you just like marking dates off on your calendar? Like, oh, this is date number 2. It's time for this movie. Oh, I'm trying to get to know if this girl has any dark secrets or if her family hates her. Here's the movie I'm putting on here.
Well, I mean,
you get to know somebody better.
Well, I mean, I tend to like lead the movie watching scenario or the shows. If sports is on, like I tend to prefer to be unfettered and not have to worry about having a woman around. But let's say we're on our third date. We're coming back to the house.
That's
date number 3. We're coming back to the house, because we've done outside activities or whatever.
Sure.
That would be like the Sweet Home Alabama. Okay, then whatever. Okay, let's say we're going date 4. All right. We might turn on something, a little bit less, we're not into it as much. Maybe,
The
Office.
You as into it? Yeah, why aren't
well,
you?
because we're just communicating.
You're going to have something on the background?
Yeah, something on the background, just so we can communicate how's your day been, just so we can further this relationship where we're not just hanging out, watching, and vegetating ourselves to media. We want to, have a relationship and a companionship and have a communicative relationship.
I'm surprised you putting the TV on in this situation. I figured you'd be a guy that keeps the movie off or TV off, and maybe you both just have 2 separate books or something that you're reading, or maybe reading the same book and discussing the book. Maybe that's what, Bob. Maybe you find a book or a TV show based off a book or a movie, and you just read that together first and get into it there. Like, hey, babe, you ever heard of the Song of Ice and Fire? You want to read that, and then we can watch some Game of Thrones. Maybe that's the place you go.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, we tried
Harry
that.
Potter's so popular, it makes me sick. I just, sorry.
Do you want my opinion yet, or what?
Yeah, Krebs, I asked for your opinion. Go ahead. By the way, J.K. Rowling is canceled. She hasn't tweeted, and she's been deleting a lot of tweets, so... reading Harry Potter now, Brizzy, or watching Harry Potter might open up a different can of worms. I don't know if you want to get into that, depending on what date you're on and what you're trying to accomplish and how well you want to get to know this girl. Go ahead, Krebs.
All right. Well, Bob, my advice to you would be that if you've read anything in the Men Seeking Women channel over the last couple weeks, I only have 2 words to tell you. No comment.
Yeah, Krebs isn't necessarily the best at giving relationship advice right now.
All right. We don't have to go too far into it.
We just don't have a lot of confidence in him right now. Is all I'm getting at. All right, boys, I enjoyed it. I'm going to get this uploaded. Do we have any objections to video if I throw this up on YouTube? Anybody got any objections to that? Because if you do, I won't do it. But otherwise, I'll just do audio.
No, toupee looks good. I'm cool with you throwing
Bob,
up.
you good with that?
Yeah, I'm good.
No, I'm representing well.
Krebs, you're good with it?
Yeah, no worries.
Seth never lets me put it on video, so
no,
Brizzy, you know what I mean. When you get a partner that finally lets you put it on video, like that's when you break up.
All right, let's get out of here. Let's just get out of here. All right, it was a pleasure.
Yeah, enjoy
Hey, boys.